All right, good evening, everyone. It is Monday, June 22, 2026. It's a little after 5:30 p.m., and this is a public meeting of the School Board of West Bend Joint School District Number 1. More than 24 hours prior to the meeting, notice of the time, place, date, and subject matter of this meeting was posted at the entrance doors of the Education Service Center and also on the district website. It was also sent to the West Bend Community Memorial Library, the Daily News, WRYU, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and other media sources that have requested notice of our meetings. I'll pause to ask Superintendent Wimmer to confirm that this meeting was properly posted.
Yes, it was.
Great, thank you. Please rise and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We recognize a quorum of our board with 6 members present. Chris Jenkins is absent. We look forward to seeing him at the next meeting. Next, we consider approval of this agenda. It was posted in advance. I'd move to approve this agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. Motion and second to approve this agenda. Final discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We move now to recognition and state recognition for West Girls Track and Field. And Erin Felber, our West Athletic Director, is going to come to the podium to kick off this recognition. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. I'm excited to introduce our head coach, Matt Wani, to talk about our amazing state qualifiers from the West Girls Track and Field team. Come on up, guys.
You guys can stand up in front here then.
He's just trying to make sure he's not in the picture.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Keep going.
Yeah. That's perfect. That way our folks at home are able to see you. And Superintendent Wimmer can snap a picture.
I got him. There you go.
All right.
Thank you to the school board for taking time to recognize these fantastic West athletes who qualified and placed at the state track meet this year and continued the history of excellence here at West. As you will see, we had an extremely successful state meet. So if you guys want to take a step forward, when I say your name or something, or salute, or whatever you want to do. So Kaylee Hitz, fantastic field athlete who continued to drop her times in the 200 and made her way onto our state qualifying 4x200 meter relay. Kaylin Wimmer. Kaylin is stuck in some Illinois traffic, imagine that, and can't make it. However, she really came in strong in the end of the season, became our first alternate for a relay. Now 3 of our fantastic freshman surprises. Sloan Godbout. Sloan is a great long jumper and showed some great speed right away for us. She ran the first leg of our 4x200 meter relay that placed 5th at state this year. This relay set our school record and was also the 40th fastest time ever run in state history. So let's see, Sarah Hutchins, part of the Hutchins dynamic duo. Sarah was the number 2 runner on the 4x200 meter relay. She also recorded the 11th fastest 100 and 200 times in West School history. Katie Hutchins. Katie was the 100 meter dash conference champion and qualified for state in the 100 meters and 200 meters, as well as running our 3rd leg of our 4x200 meter relay. Katie ranks 3rd and 11th. 3rd in the 100 and 4th in the 200 meter dash in West School history. So again, some great freshman surprises there. Riley Failing, perhaps you have heard of her. If not, let me fill you in on her season, since greatness like this doesn't come around very often and deserves the time. Riley was the anchor on our state placing record, breaking 4x200 meter relay. So that's 1 podium finish and 1 medal for Riley. Just a little heads up, the top 6 in each event get to stand on the place podium to receive their medals at a state meet. So that's 1 podium finish for her. Okay, Riley also broke the school record running the 26th fastest time in state history in the 100 hurdles, placing 3rd at state. So if you're counting, that's 2 podium finishes and 2 medals for Riley. Riley also placed 4th in the long jump, breaking our school record. So that's 3 medals and 3 podium finishes in school records. Lastly, since track athletes can only compete in 4 events, Riley broke the school record and ran the 2nd fastest time in state history in the prelims and was the state champion in the 300 meter hurdles, 0.25 seconds off the state record. I know a lot of track coaches, and Riley was the talk of the meet. So 4 events, 4 top 5 place finishes, which placed us 10th out of 88 schools as a team at the state meet. What a great way to cap off an unbelievable track career. Riley is the current school record holder in 7 events: the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, the 400-meter dash, which is also the 27th fastest time in state history, the 100-meter hurdles, the 300 hurdles, long jump, and then she was our anchor on our 4x200-meter relay. So thank you again for allowing me to recognize these fantastic track athletes who probably represented West Bend West in an unbelievable manner at the state meet. So thank you.
Ladies, thank you for joining us tonight. These are amazing accomplishments, and probably had more exciting things perhaps to do than come to a school board meeting on a Monday in June, but we really, really appreciated all of your accomplishments, certainly. Riley, what a great performance. All of you have done our community very, very proud. Thank you so much. We're going to continue on with our meeting. We're not offended if anyone leaves at this point, but it's a public meeting, so please come along and stay with us for the whole time. But again, thank you very much for coming. We greatly appreciate it. All right. We'll continue on then. Next on our agenda is public participation. I did not receive any public participation comment cards, so we'll move on with our consent agenda. On our consent agenda tonight, minutes of the June 8th, 2026 regular board meeting and executive session. There are 8 contracts, 5 resignations, no retirements. The grades 9 through 10 English Language Arts Resource Recommendation, the World Class Instructional Design and Assessment English Language Development Standards, the 2025-2026 Annual Seclusion and Restraint Report, as well as the 2026-2027 Student Transportation Contract. I believe those are all the items on the consent agenda. Any questions on any of the consent agenda items? Hearing none, I'd move to approve this consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. We have a motion and second to approve the consent agenda. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. We move then to reports. First up is our annual nursing report, and I believe Amy Brager, our district nurse, I see her there, is coming forward to the podium to give that report. Good evening to you.
Hello. Got the right one. All right. How do I get out of this page? I got as far as red button.
You're just going to scroll.
Perfect. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Amy Brager. I'm the district nurse, and I have been in this position for, I think, 10 years now. I am also a District 6 director on the board of directors for the Wisconsin Association of School Nurses. I was reelected to that position back in April and will serve my final term there. And then most proudly, I am a mom to 3 boys, 2 of which go to Fair Park, and the third is just anxiously awaiting his 4K debut, which is not until next fall, but he's counting down very cutely. A few years back, I shared a photo of my oldest reading a book for the first time to my middle son, and I am excited to share a photo of my middle son now reading a book to my youngest. I put those photos there not just because they're super cute, because I love them, but also it serves as a reminder for me to thank both you all and all of the Fair Park staff for all of the wonderful things that you do to help our children grow and learn. And without the work that you do, my kids could not read books to each other, and we wouldn't be able to grow and thrive as a community. So thank you for all the work that you do. All right, so moving on to our team. This is a breakdown of who we have on our health and professionals team. We have another part-time RN, 2 LPNs, and the rest are medical assistants, and you can see there where they are placed. We serve students with a variety of medical conditions in the district. We have students that require urinary catheterization during the school day, tube feedings, various monitoring needs. But this is kind of a snapshot of what is most commonly found in our schools. Of the 5,065 students we had enrolled this year, we had 16 students with type 1 diabetes. Those students require daily monitoring. We see them multiple times a day for carb counting, insulin administration, work very closely with those families. We have 437 students diagnosed with asthma. Many of those students carry an inhaler or they have inhalers in the clinics, and we will give them to those students that are having a hard time breathing, or if, preventatively, if they're going out to gym or recess. We have 201 emergency medications this year. That does not include inhalers. So that's your EpiPens, your Solu-Cortef, your diazepam for students with seizure disorders. And then moving down, we see 16% of students with a diagnosed mental health or behavioral health disorder. We know there are probably a lot more students that have a mental health or behavioral health condition. As we work with the student services team members to support students with symptoms of those things during the school day, but that's just the rate that we have for diagnosis and treatment. The number of medications in the clinics total out to 1,012, so that's the number of medication cards or authorization cards that we have. That many of those medications are for ADHD and other mental health conditions. Our clinic visits and visit disposition slide is the breakdown of how many students we see in our clinics each day or throughout the year. We have a total down there of 61,366 visits to our health rooms. You'll see there's a comparison for the last 2 years, and Badger is still the back-to-back remaining champ there at 12,514. And then the Silverbrook and high school schools are still pretty much up there in our second and third spots as they have been historically. We have 4,112 students were sent home due to illness, and that just means they came into the health room, they met one of the criteria for going home, and then a parent came to pick them up or a family member came to pick them up. Treated return to class is my favorite number. 54,484 is the number of encounters that we had where they came into the clinic, they received some sort of intervention, and then they were able to return to the learning environment. So we're super grateful for our health room team to be there for the injuries or emergency care at school, but that number right there speaks to the value of why you have skilled professionals too in your buildings, is getting them back into their seats to learn. 2,758 students were family choice pickup, meaning they didn't meet the required criteria to go home, but family elected to do so, and then 12 calls to 911. Some of our highlights this year, under preventative services, we worked with the West Bend Lions Club again to provide our vision screenings. We had 10% referrals in 5th grade and 13% in kindergarten. Something that was fun for me is now we're starting to see some of the kindergartners we work with now in the 5th grade team and seeing how their glasses or their vision care has now supported their needs in the learning environment throughout. So that's been a fun being here for a long time surprise. Dental services, we had Bridging Brighter Smiles here again this year. There are 324 students enrolled in that program, and they provide on-site charitable care. They were able to provide $10,602.17 worth of care to our students. Under professional learning, we provided the medication training and the UAP training for eligible staff. And then we have 2 CPR instructors on our team that were able to help certify staff. Kind of rolling that into celebrations, we maintained our Project Adam HeartSafe accreditation status. We have to do 2 drills per year in order to keep that HeartSafe status going. Technically, next year is supposed to be our reaccreditation year, but Project Adam has let us extend, given that we're transitioning with all the buildings and teams. We're going to hash that out when we mesh together and start to train with our new team members. And then I presented for my first national conference in Milwaukee this year. I was asked to speak at the Children's Wisconsin Project Adam National Conference, which happened to be in Milwaukee. It was super scary and also very, very fun and interesting. I really learned a lot. It was an honor to present and represent West Bend School District and also the school nursing profession that day. And there I am doing that. What questions do you have for me?
Board members, any questions? Just as a reminder, when the numbers are very impressive. I mean, clearly the services are utilized, and first of all, thank you to you and your team for all the services they do for these, for the kids and for our district. As it relates to medication, so if I'm a child and I have some sort of prescription medication, is that always sometimes done under the supervision? Like, let's say, for instance, I'm finishing up a course of, I don't know, antibiotics. Is that something that's done under supervision of a nurse, or are there criteria? How does that work?
So typically, we encourage families to take any medication that they have at home. So usually an antibiotic is given at home. There are circumstances where it should be given with lunch, or they have multiple doses a day, in which case they would take it in our clinic with our health room professional. So any of our staff anybody that works with students receives the medication training in this beginning of the school year, so they can give certain medications with that training. So oral medications on a field trip is a great example. But our day-to-day kind of services, those medications are given daily in our health rooms.
Excellent. Joe?
The Green Tree visits dropped off substantially from
Yes.
the prior year. Any rhyme or reason for that?
We feel that's an inaccurate number and has to do with documentation, but that's just a theory right now, so I don't want to, there's no data behind what my theories might be, so I'm not going to speculate right yet.
Good question. Other questions? We thank you for coming and presenting this report. I know you do this at least once a year. And again, thank you for all the work that you and your team do.
Thank you.
Thanks. Our next report tonight is the Student Behavior Report, and Emily Melstrand, our Director of Student Services, is here to give that report. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you our end-of-year data aligned with our student engagement and behavior goals. So I have been appearing before you twice annually. I give you a mid-year update and then an end-of-year update. So some of this information is going to look very redundant in terms of content, but I think it's helpful to place it in front of the board and the community a couple of times each year. So we have a long-term goal that we've been working on over the course of the past 3 years, and it's really turned into a maintenance goal. We were able to achieve that relatively quickly, and we chose these numbers because they're really indicative of a behavioral support structure that is effective. So our goal is that all students have 85% our goal is that 85% of all students are meeting school expectations consistently, and that's measured by having 0 to 1 major office referral. And then alongside of that, we want to ensure that 95% of all of our students have 5 or less. So we're really looking to decrease the number of students who are requiring very intensive plans to feel successful at school. And then we have a short-term goal that we are really targeting middle level, 7th through 10th grade students, wanting them to be more engaged as measured by having a decrease in number of referrals in the Be Respectful category. So this is a slide that you've seen multiple times. This just really is intended to highlight for you kind of our 3 driving forces. These are the foundational elements that allow us to continue to support student success in meeting those expectations. And you'll notice it's, the clearly defined and reinforced expectations. Our teachers have been fantastic about that. And you're going to see in our data that when kids know what to do, when we hold them accountable for those high standards, kids do well. And then we use our rubrics within every disciplinary incident to identify what a disciplinary action response would be. We review that annually as an administrative team and really refine and improve those processes. We just completed that work. And then always having data-driven goal action steps and interventions. So really looking at the data in front of us, what do we know about what kids need, and then responding with intervention plans based upon that data. So end of year, our first goal, you will see when you look at the table in front of you that 85% of our kids at every building met the 0 to 1 major referral goal. And again, at every building and at the district level, 95% of all of our students had less than 5 major office referrals. So that goal continued to be met. Our second goal, oh boy, there we go. Oh, I also included this slide because I just wanted to show you real briefly, as we've been tracking this data the last 3 years, what we're really recognizing is we have more students falling into that 0 to 1 category. And if you look at the gold category, which is the 2 to 5, so underneath 5, below 5, you can see that that number is decreasing. And that's really a testament to our teams recognizing when kids are struggling quickly and responding with interventions and plans that support their improved ability to meet expectations. This is just a slide to kind of help orient you. We use our West Bend School District Way, our WBSD way, which is really kind of the foundation around positive expectations, clear expectations, and we have 4 categories within that: be ready, be responsible, be respectful, and be safe. And we have targeted our work. I mean, of course, we're addressing all of those areas, but we're really focusing on be respectful and be safe. We want our learning environment to be a place where kids can learn, where there are few distractions in the learning environment. And of course, we want our environments to be safe for students and staff. So we had a targeted focus on 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade students in the Be Respectful category. We were hoping to move that to 93% of kids in the 0 to 1 category. We ended last year at 92%, and we ended this year at 92%. So we didn't get that 1% bump up, but one of the things that I did note in the data as I did the review is there was some nice improvement at the 9th and 10th grade, and a need for continued focus at the 7th and 8th grade. That was the area that kind of pulled us back to that. I mean, we ended up, it's a wash, 92%. We stayed where we were, but I was happy to see some of the interventions that are happening at 9th and 10th grade really having an impact. And if you recall, Jen Potter had shared a lot about the 9th grade study hall and all of the focus around wrapping around our 9th grade students. That's really, we see that not just in their learning, but we're seeing that in their ability to meet school expectations. In the Be Safe category, this is a slide I'm super proud of. Our teachers and administrators are responding quickly when there are behaviors that fall in this category. You're going to see across the board the number of students who fell into the 0 to 1 category, and you'll see underneath high school Badger, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, and Silverbrook, we didn't have any students who fell into that highly repetitive pattern of behavior, and that's because we were intervening when we needed to. A couple of end of year highlights, and this is focusing on major behavioral referrals. One of the things I just wanted to highlight is, if you recall, 2 years ago, we really started recalibrating around the use of personal technology at school. The rule didn't change, but we made a committed effort to, we're going to target this. Teachers are going to be really consistent at the high school level with no technology in the learning environment. And we saw a little bit of an uptick where we had more referrals, and then we acclimated. And what you see there is 98% of the kids in the district had 0 to 1 referral in that category. And then the rest of the categories are some of the higher, the areas that it's important for me to be representing to you. You can see that in the area of fights and threats, almost 100% of our kids are meeting that expectation. And this year, I thought I'd throw in some minor behavioral referrals just kind of for the fun of it. We talk often about major behavioral referrals, and the minor behaviors are the types of things that are really teacher handled, right? They're the things kids make a mistake and they need redirection and correction and reteaching, and then they move on. And I threw this in here because as I was combing through that data, there were a couple things I was really proud of. These are minor behaviors, and if you look again under personal technology, 90%, 96% of our kids had 0 to 1 minor behavior in personal technology, which shows us again that when the expectation is clear and when we hold kids accountable to that expectations, kids will do well, and they are. And, you know, physical contact, unsafe behavior, 98 and 99% of our kids had 0 to 1 minor behavior. And I think that that's really something to be proud of. With that, I wanted to highlight key strategies, and I'm not going to go through each one of these because what we have found is a focus on these key strategies is working. It's moving us in a really positive direction, and our kids are doing well. But what I did want to highlight is one of the areas that our student services team is going to be focusing a little more heavily on in the upcoming year is really beefing up our paraprofessional training. Our paraprofessionals include our special education paraprofessionals, our supervisory aides, our library aides, and all of those individuals are interfacing with kids in a really close way every single day. And it's important to us that we continue to help them develop strong toolboxes for interfacing with kids and helping to correct and intervene when kids are struggling. So that will be an area of focus in the upcoming year. We will also continue to sustain that narrow focus around respect and following directions, and with a really targeted focus at 7th and 8th grade. Mr. O'Connor and I have already started to engage together around that work. And again, we continue to work on making sure that students' mental health needs are supported. Amy talked about that as a system-wide need, and we continue to ensure families and kids have access when they need it. Sean Becker continues to support that as our mental health navigator. And with that, I am happy to take any questions that you have for me.
Great, thank you. Board members, what questions do we have? One question that I had is, as it relates to all the great data that is collected around this, and I remember this journey, and this is very impressive, and a lot of work on a lot of folks' part, teachers especially. We also just need to be sure that the right things are getting reported and documented, right, to have that data flow. And how do we feel about that? What's your sense about the state that we're in with regard to we're reporting the incidents, we're logging the incidents, we're capturing the incidents?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my feeling about that is we have invested a lot of time in ensuring that our staff know how to report. They know what referral, when to make a referral, how to make a referral. We are so much more accurate in classifying referrals correctly because those definitions are clear. We have a guidebook that we use that every one of our teachers have access to. So my feeling is we're reporting well. Are we capturing every single incident that happens throughout the system? No, probably not, and we're never going to do that. But I believe we've built structures that are allowing teachers to have trust in the process and parents to have trust in the process. Kids know the expectations, and when they're not meeting the expectations, there's a response. And there's a response that is both a teaching response and a consequence when that's necessary. So I feel really positively about where we've gone in that journey, and there's always room to grow.
Great, thank you. Other questions? We appreciate the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Superintendent Wimmer.
Perfect handoff. Next on our agenda is the superintendent's report.
Mine's very brief. The end of the year is always a whirlwind, and then we turned the corner rather quickly and launched all of our summer programs. So our summer programs began on June 16th. We have hundreds of students attending a wide variety of classes. In fact, just Decorah has about 500 students alone at their program. We also have students at Silverbrook and our high school's campus. So for most of our students, that summer school program runs through July 9th. And for students who are receiving credit in the high school program, they go a little bit bit later to July 16th. So thanks for enrolling. I think sometimes summer school, everyone assumes that that might be remedial or things you have to work on, but really it can serve as a jumping off point. Kind of, a kickstart to the year ahead, but there's a lot of enrichment classes, some credit opportunities. There's a lot of fun for kids, so we urge everyone to check out that catalog every year. And also, I'd like to recognize a student, Mason Indiraj, a 2026 West graduate, recently earned, and you will be jealous of this, 3rd place in Microsoft Excel at the Microsoft Office Specialist U.S. National Championship. So he is 3rd place in the country in that office suite. So talk about representing West Bend. Just what an amazing accomplishment. So he was among 140 finalists at the event in Nashville, which was an elite group who qualified by passing rigorous Microsoft Office certification exams in Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. And that specialist credential that he earned is the only official Microsoft-recognized certification program for office skills globally. So it represents far more than just a test score. It's recognized as resume-ready qualification that signals to future employers and colleges that he has certainly mastered those tools. So just congratulations on that accomplishment. And again, thank you for representing West Bend on a national stage. And that concludes my report.
Excellent. Very impressive. Other questions for Superintendent Wimmer? All right, thank you for your report. We'll move to our action items. We have a number of second and third reading of certain policies. So I'm thinking, Superintendent Wimmer, you'll walk us through those. We have one board member absent, so are we thinking the second reading might be advisable to bring those to a third reading? If they're, okay, excellent.
So I'll take us through the ones for third reading that we should take action on tonight. You've seen these 2 times before, student transportation, tightening up. Remember, we had some inconsistencies for households, et cetera. No changes or discussion has occurred in between these readings.
Great. Board members, are there any questions we have on policy 751? We'll start there. Hearing none, I'd move to approve policy 751, student transportation services as presented. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Temez. Motion and second to approve policy 751, student transportation services as presented. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? That motion carries. We'll then move to policy 830 and then also 830AR for use of facilities. This is the third reading.
This is a third reading, and we had brought this, I think, over the last year, really worked to add an additional category, stretching kind of the reduced rates for youth, et cetera. In between, I connected with a lot of our youth sports, in addition to sending out just kind of notice to our other facilities users. But I made personal calls last week to things like Wildcats wrestling, youth football, all the baseball programs, things that are standalone in the community and really are truly our youth program. Right now, they've been sitting separate, and we talked about kind of furthering that and bringing them further under our umbrella. They would retain their own identity and their own thing, but there's things that you can do to more formally recognize them and further reduce their fees and kind of work together. I think sometimes we've got some different programs, but certainly with the consolidation of the high school, they're consolidating their programs due to enrollment, et cetera. So people were very open. I have them doing a follow-up with Ralph Schloss, our Director of Community Engagement. So that's really even furthering what's on this piece. So it was very well received, that consolidation of the high school brings us to that unified identity as a community. So they're looking forward to that opportunity, and we'll be gathering them separately outside of this, but very receptive. So that was the only thing that occurred kind of in between that second and third reading. No other questions.
Great. And remind me, is this policy that we were considering having become effective January 1 of 2027?
We had passed along all the savings earlier, and then this is none of the fees would take place until their fiscal year's January 1.
Got it.
Correct.
So should we consider then approving this effective January 1?
Yes.
Great. And are there any other?
Fees, you can approve your policy, and that fee structure would shift on January 1.
Got it. Board members, any questions on policy 830 and then the 830AR? All right.
Chris,
Here-
just a note, I would.
Please, Joe.
I was planning to recuse myself from this vote just because it could have financial implications for the company that I work for, which I also produced the budget for. So not personal financial implications, but for my company and my role there, so.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. All right. Board members, any other questions? Hearing none, I would move to approve policy 830 and the AR 830 for use of facilities as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. Motion and second to approve policy 830 and 830 AR, use of facilities as presented. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstains? Joe abstains. The motion carries. Thank you. We now move to the second readings. First is policy 528.1, staff and student relations, and Wisconsin Act 89. And again, this is a second reading.
Right, second reading, and without everyone, we'll defer it for a third reading. The only question June had brought up in between readings was just making sure our language is very clear about when a student's 18. Sometimes we serve students who are 18 to 21. Maybe they're students from another district participating. So there's some sections in there that's delineated, kind of a who's who, who's a student. Anyone enrolled is considered a student. But what I'll do is I'll just kind of give in that feedback, make sure it's not too legally, and that we can look forward to, if I have any recommendations after looking at it again, to tighten that up so it's more kind of the general public could read and understand that. So I'll take another look kind of with that feedback on that one between that. Otherwise, I'll bring that forward for a third reading at our next.
Great, and June, that was good feedback. And remind me, this is based primarily on WASB language?
This is vetted by WASB, written by their attorneys, and in compliance with Act 29.
Yeah, that's excellent. Maybe they can be of assistance too if June's question's a good one. So thank you again, June. Are there any objections to just moving this forward to a third reading? I'm seeing and hearing none. All right. We move then to another second reading, policy series review of the 300 series instruction. These would be policies recommended for removal.
Sure, and I'll kind of talk about each, and then you can set aside. In that first one, they were recommended for removal. They were either outdated or kind of the policy was removed, and you had some lingering ARs. Again, no discussion, no question about those pieces, so I would anticipate bringing those forward for third reading and action at a next meeting.
Right. Any objections to a third reading? Seeing and hearing none, we move next to policy series review of the 300 series instruction. These are policies recommended for revision, and again, another second reading.
Right. These were kind of the revisions around our format, alignment, not changing content or those pieces, just taking care of that general piece. So no additional questions or anything coming forward on that.
Right. I'm hearing no questions from the board, and I'm assuming no objections to a third reading. All right, hearing and seeing none, we move to policy series review of the 300 series instruction. These are policies recommended for revision or new policies, and this is a second reading.
Right, and in between, the award goes to Joe Pickler for reading with intent.
Well done.
He found a couple typos. Those have been cleaned up and represented here, and I've noted them in the notations on those. So thank you for that, but we would anticipate bringing these forward for third reading and action as well.
Thank you, Joe, for your work in between meetings. Any objections to moving this to a third reading? All right, seeing and hearing none, we move then forward to future agenda items. And on our board meeting calendar, we have the following meeting scheduled: July 7th, Curriculum Committee meeting, 4:30 p.m. at the Education Service Center. Our next two regular board meetings would be on July 13 and July 27, both at 5:30 p.m. at the Education Service Center. And then the Curriculum Committee meeting, August 4th, 2026, 4:30 p.m. here at the Education Service Center. Those are the items on our calendar.
It is possible that we will most likely only have one in July. We keep it as a placeholder in case we're, needed to hire, et cetera. We don't anticipate needing a second meeting in July, so we'll just hold that. But people should watch online for those notices. I anticipate canceling that second meeting.
The second meeting, great.
Perfect. I will not be at the 27th meeting if it is held.
All right, thank
I'll be
you.
out of town.
Joe?
I won't be at the July 13th meeting.
July 13th. And I think there's one of the two, if I remember, that I'm out of town as well. But we'll make sure that there's a quorum, and one of the meetings might not be held, which is a good reminder to the public to watch for the official
Right.
postings in case the date or the time or the place or even having the meeting may change.
Yeah,
Excellent. All right, any questions on the board calendar? Are there any other items for follow-up communication? Hearing none, we've reached the end of our planned agenda, so I would move to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Melanie. We have a motion and second to adjourn the meeting. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, everyone who attended in person or online. We look forward to seeing you at our next meeting.